Today's a WRAL weather alert day. We had a confirmed tornado earlier this morning there in Edgecombe County. Now we have rain starting to redevelop across our area. I'll show you your potential for thunderstorms and severe weather.
Yeah, Elizabeth, that radar confirmed tornado. We're live in Edgecombe County where that storm happened for us this afternoon and uprooted trees, sending them into homes. Also, we have a one-on-one with Coach Bill Belichick. UNC's football coach talks football with WRAL in Amelia Island, Florida. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. We saw a break in the rain for part of the morning, but now it's beginning to fill back in. Over the next hour, we'll have live team coverage of the early morning tornado damage and what's to come. We begin with Elizabeth in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with our chance for severe storms and flooding for the rest of the day. Elizabeth.
We still have this very unstable air mass with us, the one that brought us that potential tornado from last night, and then, of course, another one this morning, both in Edgecombe County. We did have a break in the precipitation for a bit, and now the sunshine is adding energy to the atmosphere, and we're beginning to see some little cells pop up. No lightning just yet, but I would not be surprised if by the end of the newscast, we start to see some thunder and lightning developing, and we do have a level 1 risk. We'll take a look at that. Let's talk about the tornadoes from the last 24 hours that were in Edgecombe County. They were 14 miles apart. The first one, of course, I should say, is the reported tornado at 5:30 yesterday. That was over near Princeville. And then this one near Pine Tops at about 3:45 this morning. It was interesting to see the two of those 12 hours apart without any other warnings for anything else. Really kind of an unusual situation. Here's what's happening right now. We got a little bit of a break in the clouds and the sun is starting to heat things up. That is going to destabilize the atmosphere a bit more and improve our chances for showers and thunderstorms after lunchtime and into the afternoon. So damaging winds, isolated tornadoes and hail are all possible later this afternoon. And we now have Wednesday as a WRAL weather alert day as well, because we do have that level 1 risk again. Same story. We would have the chance for some wind damage, some isolated tornadoes or hail. Anytime we see rain in the next 24 to 36 hours, we could see flooding. We have the flood watch in effect from the Triangle area eastward all the way through 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. But even after that, some heavy rain could produce some flooding here in Rocky Mountain Mills in Edgecombe County. Of course, we're looking at the potential for some heavy rain later on today. 74 is the temperature, dew point 66, and our best chance for rain will be this afternoon up until around dinner time. Coming up, a couple of things. I'm going to show you how much rain we've seen. Parts of the viewing area, 5 inches so far. Those are the areas that have a greater risk for flooding, and we'll check that out coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. We are waiting for the National Weather Service to confirm yesterday's likely tornado in Edgecombe County, but radar has confirmed that one tornado did hit Edgecombe County early this morning. Take a look at the damage in this video. WRAL's Heidi Kirk is live in Pine Tops with a look at the cleanup. Heidi.
Well, Renee, I'm here on Old Wilson Road, and I want to take you straight to that damage. Take a look at this. It's hard to believe that this tree as big as this, again, I'm 5'10", I'm much shorter than this tree. It was ripped out of the ground, but come walk with me this way. I want to show you some more of the damage. Now, the trees, the debris missed this home, but just barely. Take a look at this car, completely crushed. Of course, the homeowner has gotten the tree up off of there, but you can see the damage that remains. This is what we're seeing all around this neighborhood. Now, just one street over, I want you to take a look at your screens. You're going to see a home that has severe damage. You can see the front of that home very much crushed, debris scattered everywhere. This is what we've been seeing streets over. We talked to some of these people saying that they actually heard the tornado come through around 3:45 a.m. this morning. They described that terrible noise and the debris hitting their homes and their cars. Now, we spoke to the woman at the home where we're standing, and
from the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
In just a few hours, Raleigh city leaders will review a study of downtown. Last January, the city contracted a company to look at ways to improve Fayetteville Street at Glenwood South neighborhoods. City leaders will get an update on a traffic safety study conducted in the Glenwood South area. Those findings will be presented at a work session today at 4.
Lawmakers from around the country are joining forces to demand warning labels on social media for children. NBC's Ian Call explains how these labels might work.
From California to Texas and New York, there's a growing movement among local lawmakers to put warning labels on social media, specifically warning teenagers about the possible mental health side effects of social media platforms.
And that for all the promise this technology has, there's also a lot of peril.
We know that warning labels won't fix everything, but they tell the truth. And kids deserve the truth more than tech companies deserve silence.
The Kids Code Coalition held a virtual press conference today to discuss the current proposal in the California Assembly,
which would require the warning labels. They would come on as you initially sign into your social media account, but you'd be able to scroll. But then after 3 hours, it would take over your screen. You wouldn't be able to click through, and for 90 seconds, that warning label would be there.
15-year-old Ian Moladina is working to get something similar passed in Texas and shared what he's experienced on social media.
Watching others live quote unquote perfect lives online can make us feel like we're always falling short, and we internalize that. And I've experienced that more recently than I can even express. And it builds up slowly until it's heavy enough to break us. And I've been broken before, and I've seen my peers break.
The Texas bill has already passed the state house. The California legislation has bipartisan support and is set to be heard by a committee later this month. The hope is a growing number of states pass the warnings, and it will push Congress to act on a national level, all with the goal of addressing a growing youth mental health crisis.
I can say that if I had seen those warnings when I was in the darkest places in my life, if I had known that other people were struggling too and that help was available, I might have asked for support sooner.
That was Ian Cull reporting. Last year, former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy demanded Congress put a label on apps similar to the warning labels on cigarettes and alcohol. A woman says her credit card information was stolen at a restaurant drive-thru. 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur spoke to law enforcement, who says this type of card fraud can happen in an instant.
We started looking into this after a next door warning to Raleigh neighbors. In that post, a woman says she went through this Taco Bell drive-thru. She says the employees didn't give her her card back after she paid. And when she realized that 5 minutes later, fraudulent purchases were already being made on her card. In a statement, Taco Bell told 5 on Your Side, quote, the franchise owner and operator of this restaurant informed us they addressed this situation directly with the customer, and the matter has been resolved. Because you can make purchases anytime, anywhere from your phone, Lieutenant Sean Matthews with the Wake County Sheriff's Office says this type of card fraud is getting worse.
It seems like society is all going electronic and digital, and the more and more that we see that crimes of fraud and scams of digital nature are becoming more and more prevalent.
And tonight at 6, the other cases we found in the Raleigh area just like this one, and the best way you can protect your accounts. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
McDonald's plans to hire as many as 375,000 employees this summer. The fast food giant says it needs more workers as it aims to open 900 new U.S. restaurants by 2027. It's also gearing up to serve more customers over the summer months.
A reduction in tariffs between the U.S. and China is giving Shein and Temu a chance to restock their warehouse and fulfill existing orders. Starting tomorrow, the so-called de minimis rule will be relaxed from 120% to 54%. The small package tariff exemption had helped the companies maintain budget prices on the merchandise they shipped directly from China. AMC is rolling out half-price tickets on Wednesdays as it tries to attract more customers between weekends. The discount will start July 9th and is based on the normal price for an adult evening ticket. Premiums for large screen formats will still apply. The move comes after AMC reported a drop in revenue from admissions this past quarter.
Today is the WRAL Weather Alert Day, and the WRAL meteorology team has issued another for tomorrow. What you can expect from the next wave of wet weather.
Economic partnership. President Trump's first international trip of his second term takes him to the Middle East. And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen right now. Renee and I'll be right back.
Welcome back to our team coverage of this WRAL Weather Alert Day. Several people are drying out this afternoon after a tree crashed through their townhomes in Durham.
And we will get to that story in just a moment. First, we want to begin with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Elizabeth.
And we do have 2 weather alert days today and tomorrow as we continue this pattern at least through tomorrow. And then after that, our chance for rain begins to drop off a little bit. We won't see the kind of rain that we saw yesterday where it was all day steady to heavy, but we'll see isolated showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. You could see some of that there in the northern part of Durham County. We just have some small cells that are starting to pop up. We have a cloud cover that developed and a few holes appeared in those clouds, and that's where we're starting to see some of the rain beginning to pop up. This is a look at that. This is a look at our high resolution satellite, and all the dark colored areas are where the skies are clear and the sunshine is peeking through, adding extra energy to the atmosphere and creating those thunderstorms that are reforming. So we do have a level 1 risk. Level 1 risk means that we would see isolated storms that produce damage, sort of like we saw last night and again this morning. It was just, 2 tornadoes in our viewing area, so isolated, as well as the chance of damaging wind or hail, and we repeat that again tomorrow as we get through the day. Also, the chance of some flooding. We've had a lot of rain in the last 24 to 36 hours, so any additional rainfall, especially if it's heavy, could cause some flooding. We take a live look at Apex. It's nice and dry, and you can see that mix of sun and clouds. Our chance for rain this afternoon bumps up to around 60% mid-afternoon up until around dinner time. And of course, we'll have that same chance again tomorrow. I'll walk you through it on Futurecast coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And the storms this morning caused serious damage in Durham as trees fell on structures, homes, townhomes, even several of them on Hartford Court near Alpine Road. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey was there to see the damage.
It appears that no one is hurt, but it's difficult to see here since this is such a woody area. But a tree collapsed on 3 of these townhomes on Hartford Court. Let's take you to video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker so you can see the extent of the damage. The worst of it is in the back of the building. You can see that tree crushing part of a townhome. Neighbors say the tree is still creaking, so they may not have seen the worst of the damage. One neighbor says she has severe damage inside her home, while another says there's no damage inside, but it could get worse if the tree moves. We'll be sure to keep you updated on any cleanup. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Durham.
Be sure you have the WRAL News app with notifications turned on, and will alert you to changing weather conditions and traffic issues all across our viewing area.
President Trump is in Saudi Arabia today, the first leg of his 3-nation visit to the Middle East this week. It's meant to tackle crises and conflicts across the region. The White House is calling it a historic return to the Middle East. However, a visit to Israel is not on the itinerary. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell reports from Riyadh.
Good day from Riyadh, where President Trump is beginning what will be a multi-country trip, the first extensive overseas travel of his second term. And here in Saudi Arabia, much of the agenda is on business and economic development. The president meeting with the Crown Prince, effectively the leader of Saudi Arabia today, and many of the top officials here, and business development is on the agenda. The president also having American business leaders here. He'll be talking about wanting Saudi investment in the United States. That is really a way where the president bringing his businessman background to the international stage. He has had a good relationship with Saudi, and we expect that he will really pressure the kingdom to do more to invest in the United States and to buy military equipment and to build on that relationship. But beyond business, we also expect that the president and the crown prince and officials here will talk about regional issues that are always hot spots in the Middle East before he goes on to Doha and to the United Arab Emirates. Of course, the president is also concerned about some of the regional issues and spoke by phone with the newly released American hostage who had been held by Hamas since the Israeli war in Gaza. And so the president will be focusing on a range of these issues while he is on the world stage in a way where he will be selling the American brand and to some degree the Trump brand as well. I'm Kelly O'Donnell traveling with the president in Riyadh.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he will be waiting for Russian President Vladimir Putin in Turkey for peace talks. Zelensky says Russia is not ready for diplomacy, insisting that talks have only been one-sided. The Kremlin has so far been silent on whether Putin will be meeting with Zelensky.
After hours, we'll tell you about an intriguing event coming up at the North Carolina Museum of Art that you can take part in when your workday is done.
Plus, a calming influence, the big boost our pets have on our mental health.
12:37 in the afternoon. We'll mark this time because we've seen some blue sky fight its way through some of those clouds there. This is a live look from our WRAL Live Cam Network at White Lake. As you watch WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
New analysis by ProPublica, an independent newsroom, showed a spike in sepsis cases in Texas for women who lost their pregnancies in the second trimester. Sepsis is a life-threatening reaction to infection. Cases increased more than 50% after the state enacted its abortion ban in 2021. In Houston, where doctors delayed treatment until they could document a serious infection, the sepsis rate surged to 63%. However, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that number dropped to 29% because doctors were empowered to intervene before it was too late. A new global survey revealed nearly 60% of pet owners say they prefer spending time with their pets when they feel stress instead of around other people. The survey also found that 83% of pet owners believe that their furry friends have had a positive impact on their mental health. Participants say pets help them take a break from activities that can increase stress, such as work, chores, or doom scrolling.
There's a debate brewing on social media about seed oils. A lot of people are saying you should avoid them altogether. But what are they? Ultra-processed foods like chips and other prepackaged snacks often contain seed oils. Fried foods are also prepared with this type of food as well. But before you go throwing out everything in your kitchen, there are some other things you should consider.
The bigger picture is looking where these seed oils are found. So a lot of products, if you're eating ultra-processed foods, that's when you want to pump the brakes. You want to eat less of those foods. So we don't want to target exactly the oil itself, but look at the food as a whole.
Okay, so that means when it comes to cooking at home, it is okay to use seed oils for sautéing vegetables or creating other types of healthy meals.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, the FDA just announced it will begin pulling prescription fluoride drops and tablets for children off the market. They say this is to evaluate the evidence regarding the risks of fluoride. The federal government claims that there are risks associated with it. It's been used for decades in community water system, toothpaste, mouth rinses to prevent tooth decay. And dentists have stressed the harms of fluoride outweigh the benefits. The FDA said the evaluation should be complete by the end of October.
After hours at the North Carolina Museum of Art. Coming up, we'll talk with the director about the spring community event.
And it's WRAL Weather Alert Day with isolated storms expected to continue through tomorrow. Stay with us for Elizabeth Gardner's forecast coming up. North Carolina Museum of Art After Hours. It returns this week and you are invited to take part in it. The free spring community event sponsored by WRAL. Glad to do it. And joining us to talk about NCMA After Hours is the museum's director, Valerie Hillings. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Exciting times certainly these are because there's some inspiration behind the museum launching this quarterly After Hours event. What is that?
Well, we recognize that not everybody can come to the museum during the daytime, and also we're all always looking for something exciting to do with our evenings. So we started, as you're pointing out, these quarterly events. They may get bigger, but we're so excited to have one this Thursday from 5 to 8 and grateful for WRAL's sponsorship.
Well, it is good timing for folks after work, like you said, and Thursday it is another exciting event, gives folks the opportunity to come in. And there are two tour exhibitions to look at. The time is always now. Okay, artists reframe the black figure. It features hourly artist-led tours. Tell us about that.
Well, we're excited that local artists Jalen Jackson and Zaire Miles Moultrie, who are painters, are going to give hourly tours of the show. Their work has a lot of commonality with those in the show. And then also Jalen is featured this time on our billboards in the park. So it's a really great opportunity. We always feel to let local artists share their knowledge, talent, and I think seeing an artist show with artists is also a great way to experience it in a very different way.
Well, what better way to explain it than having
Yes.
an artist right there for it?
Right.
And next up, we're looking at this. Grace Hardigan, the gift of attention, so folks
Yes.
can create a poem outside the gallery. What's behind
Well,
this?
everyone in Raleigh, I think, knows Poetry Fox and loves Poetry Fox and the opportunity to create a poem. Grace Hardigan was an artist active in the mid-20th century, starting in the mid-20th century to the early 2000s, and did had a lot of relationships with poets. So we feel like this is a great chance to think about the different aspects of poetry and how it can inspire an actual poem or it can inspire a painting.
And we're going to inspire people to try to stop by the exhibition store, browse some works by local artists as well. The North Carolina Museum of Art After Hours, Thursday, 5 p.m. Free to get in, so just get there. You will need a reservation, though, okay, if you want to dine in the cafe. WRAL, again, proud sponsor of Community Day there, so folks can learn more about After Hours and the museum's spring exhibitions just by going to ncartmuseum.org. Easy way to do it, very exciting.
Absolutely. We look forward to welcoming everyone, and it'll be an exciting evening at the North Carolina Museum of Art.
Can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Renee.
Always something exciting going on at the NCMA. You know, our dual Doppler radar kind of looks like a work of art with these flashes of green and red and yellow, just watching these waves of rain move through, Elizabeth.
Lots of color there, that is for sure. One area that I'm just starting to watch now coming out of Charlotte, almost up the I-85 corridor, lots of thunder and lightning with this around Kannapolis and from Rock Hill to Charlotte. So that will continue to spread eastward and may affect our southwestern counties here, maybe in the next 2 hours. It looks like our best chance for thunderstorms today is going to be maybe the middle of the afternoon up until the evening, at least for this round two. We had, a lot of storms early this morning. Also, we'll zoom in here over Hillsborough, just north of Hillsborough there, Orange County, moving on up into, say, Person County. A little cluster of rain. There's not really any lightning with that, but that's been a cell that developed. It brought some gray skies over Durham earlier. And that one's kind of lifting off to the north. We've definitely had a lot of rain. And any additional heavy rain that we see could cause some more flooding. This is sort of the big picture. You can see where the streaks of rain have been heaviest from Sanford all the way up toward Virginia. And then another streak over here from down around New Bern to Greenville and then right through Edgecombe County, which is, of course, where we saw the 2 tornadoes in the last 24 hours. We'll zoom in and talk about some of these totals. Easily 3 to 3.5 inches here from Chapel Hill all the way down towards Sanford. Back over here into Wake County from Raleigh to Garner, it's been about 2 inches. Around Apex, about 1.25 inches or so. We'll travel a little farther to the east and about 5 inches here. And that's going to be the southeastern corner of Edgecombe County, and then it's just pretty heavy all the way up to Roanoke Rapids, 2 to 2.5 inches there. So again, in those spots in particular, if we see additional rainfall, that's when we could end up seeing some flooding. We do have the flood watch in effect until 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, and that affects Raleigh, Durham, and folks along the I-95 corridor. Today, of course, we have that level 1 risk for severe storms. We still have the chance of isolated tornadoes, hail, some damaging wind, and then tomorrow, of course, is also a level 1 risk. So it is a WRAL weather alert day. We'll have had a lot of rain. The ground will be saturated. Wind will topple trees a lot easier with our ground being so saturated. And of course, with that much water, we could add more flooding to it pretty easily. This is a look at Apex. Look at that blue sky shining through. The more sunshine you see where you are, the better chance that you may have some thunderstorms later on this afternoon. Futurecast shows a little bit of clearing as we get into the afternoon and very light coverage of storms this afternoon. But again, any one of those could produce some additional flooding or some severe weather. Same story tomorrow. Look at the coverage there. It's pretty scattered for us tomorrow afternoon and evening. It looks a little a heavier amount of coverage for us tomorrow than it does today on the radar, at least on Futurecast. So 90% chance for today. Of course, we saw a lot of that rain earlier today. 80% chance tomorrow. It's a much lesser chance Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but we couldn't rule out a few isolated showers or thunderstorms. How much more rainfall are we likely to see? Anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to to 1.5 inches. So again, we could still see some pockets of some heavier rain over the next couple of days. Checking out our forecast, 80 for today, 79 for tomorrow. Still holding on to that 92 for Friday. It's going to be a really hot one. Temperatures will still be pretty hot over the weekend, and it's likely to be pretty humid with highs in the upper 80s.
Elizabeth, thanks. Making their mark. 4 local students are encouraging their peers to crack a book this summer. The winning bookmark submissions after the break.
And here are your winning Powerball numbers: 15, 16, 41, 48, 60. The Powerball is 21. The Power Play multiplier is 3. Wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today as we wait for the National Weather Service to confirm tornado touchdowns in our state. Radar has confirmed at least one tornado in Edgecombe County. Take a look at this house, severely damaged by the storm, just one street over. And part of that roof was ripped off. The home's front awning was crushed.
The last major undecided race in the 2024 election was certified this morning. Justice Allison Riggs has officially been sworn in to the North Carolina Supreme Court. This follows 6 months of legal challenges from her opponent, Jefferson Griffin. Justice Anita Earls conducted the swearing-in ceremony. She's the only other Democrat on the Supreme Court.
For the first time, we heard directly from UNC head football coach Bill Belichick, his first interview with local media, something you'll see only on WRAL. Belichick is in Florida for the ACC spring football meetings. He stepped out of a meeting at that conference to talk with WRAL sports investigative reporter Brian Murphy. We have the entire unedited interview on our website right now. You can find it at WRAL.com/Bill.
Coco Gauff makes history as she eased into the Italian Open quarterfinals. The 21-year-old American secured her victory over Emma Raducanu in just 79 minutes. In reaching the quarterfinals, Gauff became the youngest player to reach 4 quarterfinals in the Women's Tennis Association 1000 clay tournaments. Gauff has won 8 of her last matches on clay, showing impressive form with the French Open just around the corner.
In the days of audiobooks and computers now, some still like to read physical books. And now some Wake County readers, can hold their place with one of 4 colorful designs. You see them here. So neat. After reviewing more than 1,000 submissions, a panel of library staff and Wake County Library Commission members selected the 4 winning designs by Sam Green, Yume Wang, Chloe Seal, and Quincy Baines, simply with the message, read a book. One for ages 3 to 6. The bookmarks will be distributed at all 23 Wake County public libraries while supplies last.
You might be tempted to quote a famous movie line after seeing our handsome pet of the day. Meet Forrest. Like most hounds, this sweet guy absolutely loves his sniff walks. Although he is heartworm positive, it is treatable and not contagious. The Friends of Wake County Animal Center has provided a $600 sponsorship to help cover the cost of treatment. If you're looking for a dog with a nose for adventure and a heart full of love, contact the Wake County Animal Center at the email address on your screen.
Come on, we have to say it. Run, Forrest. All right, picking healthier snacks. Ultra-processed foods dominate many of our diets, and they are taking a serious toll on our health. 5 on Your Side reveals simple ways to cut back without sacrificing flavor. That's at 4 o'clock.
Let's give you a check of the stock market right now in mixed reaction as there's continued uncertainty over the tariff talks. The Dow Jones down 190 some points. S&P 500 in the green, tracking ahead 50 points. NASDAQ is seeing quite the rally, up 340 points at this hour.
Dow was up 1,100 yesterday, right? Just giving a little back.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And you can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great day. It's a blue sky out there.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.